Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another amazing episode of the Pitchside podcast. The lineup is always, as usual, amazing. Deko and Mahoota.
Sure.
Okran.
Not.
You seem to be a favorite on the show, man. The comments, the people love you, man. Baru comedy nyan.
Comedy?
Yeah.
Nah.
We bring you Pitchside, you bring us jokes.
So you're a clown.
Let me give jokes,
Yeah.
even today. Once.
Here.
Yeah.
Relaxis.
Nah.
Yeah.
No, the jokes are not planned. So they are like that, you know? They're not planned, yeah. I can
Chinese.
study jokes. Yeah, the Chinese. Yeah.
No, thank you very much for joining us. Really appreciate having you back on the show. The last time we were here, everyone was just speaking about how great you are, so they wanted more from you. So we said, no, because now it's a big one. We're going to the MTN8 final.
Yeah, so I wasn't going to come back until...
No, if no Putile, why would we bring you back?
Oh, okay.
Actually,
That's
it's
good
funny.
to hear.
It's funny that we sit here like this because both of you played for Orlando Pirates, right? Who were facing in the MTN8 final. Now, you guys are on the other side. Before we even go there, do you consider yourself a Sundowns legend or an Orlando Pirates legend?
A PSL legend.
That wasn't one of the options, my brother.
Yeah, I'm giving you another option, though.
Which wasn't on the table.
No, I didn't know I had two options.
No, we gave it to you. We won this side or that side.
Okay, I'm a PSL legend.
Okay, cool. I think that's a safe one. That's a safe
It
way
is,
to go
it
because
is.
hey, but abadlali lo wena.
I always want to know.
Yeah. It's the week of the final, leading up to the final. Please, in your mind, when you were playing, because technology has also developed. I heard before we even came on the show, Machita were just speaking about the differences between then and now. But mentally, what would your preparation be like going into the week of the final?
I think the first thing that the players need to realize, or what this game dictates, is that history counts for nothing. This is a once-off game. It doesn't have a second leg. It doesn't have anything. It's just a 90 minutes game or extra time and penalties. So it's a once-off game. That game dictates that. So on the day, I think the players should be ready mentally, physically, and otherwise they must just block everything out and just focus on this one game. It's a cup game, and all the other things after that, whether you play the league or the Champions League and whatnot, that wouldn't matter. But this is just a once-off game that everyone needs to be prepared for.
With that said, I mean, it's easier to say cut out everything, but in the era that we live in of social media and with the amount of, call it idle time when you're sitting in the hotel, sitting in the bus, everybody's always scrolling on their phone or doing something. How do you then tune out of all of that?
I think personally it's a choice.
Yeah.
That you can actually switch off from every other thing. And then now if you really want to switch off on a day of the game, already you're late because you've consumed all this information during the week to watch the game.
Yeah.
That's why you see in so many instances you find a big game, everybody's at expectations, some Mahoota, only to find out on the day Mahoota is nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
Because when you've been playing the game since Monday.
Yeah.
So you're already exhausted physically when you have to actually play the game. And I think what's important is it's just that look inside your emotion because it's a big game. It's gonna be emotionally draining.
Yes.
Number one. And then if you physically, you don't have to question yourself. So we don't have to question too many things. But it's just that in the challenges are it's just the mental space from players. There's players that have never been in cup finals before.
Yeah.
And those who've been in cup finals before, they've never been in the cup finals of this magnitude. So even the ones that have experienced, even the ones that have got the know-how, obviously it'll challenge. And you need to feel a little bit of nervous because I think once you feel that, it means you care. You want to win the game. And I think that's important. But it's just that already in the era, thank God I don't play in this era where everything is so, it's just here from the social media because based on the type of player that I was and the things that I went through in football.
Yeah.
But right now, I just think you do have a choice that you can actually decide. Just like me, I knew every Sunday there was a story about me.
Yeah.
But I choose to stop buying newspapers.
Yeah, both of you. You're once darlings of the Sunday papers.
Yeah. I don't know for Mahoota. Mahoota, they were not ready for.
And
More tea than me.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. But you
So,
also, at a
maybe
stage, lived there.
Yeah, maybe 3 stories. Like It's not as much as him, you know. But
Yeah.
like I've always said, and I said this, I mean, hundreds and probably a million times. He was a football god. He changed how people look at South African players.
Yeah.
That's why even newspapers wanted to be associated with him. Because
100%.
once they write about him, they say, "Oh, Teko Modise." Now everyone wants to read about Teko. So that's how it was. But for me, it was just one story here,
And it was repeated.
one story there, and with the same person, same thing. You know, I
Dona and it was with different people.
Dona was every day. I think even what he was wearing on a day that he went to the mall, they wrote about it.
Yeah.
Because that's how big he was.
Yeah.
That's how we changed the landscape of South African football, or how people look at South African football players.
Yeah. So that also then speaks to then the power of social media,
Yeah.
right? And being a player having to be able to switch off. I mean, you were saying that trying to switch off on the day of the game is just not going to work
Right.
because the preparation starts the entire week leading up to the game.
Bro, Naves, even coaching. If
Yeah.
you really want to coach on the day of the game, you're late.
Yeah.
On the day of the game, here's the thing. Now it becomes important as a manager to be able to manage these players. On the day of the game, no player wants to hear you telling them about tactics.
Yeah.
Because it's such a big game. They know that's a type of game that actually breaks you or makes you.
Yeah.
So now, most of the time, you want to listen to whatever comforts you, whether it's music, whether you want to
Yeah.
sing. You just want to be in your zone. And most of the time, coaches don't want to give players to be on the zone. In fact, you had the whole week to prepare the team.
Yeah.
Saturday, 30 minutes before the game, you are late if there's something new that you want to introduce.
Yeah.
So don't be surprised when you lose the game. And I just feel on those days, like on the game day, it's for the players.
Yeah.
As coaches, you need to step aside, leave everything, just believe in the work that you're putting in towards this type of a game. And on the game, Fitz, sometimes you take things for granted. You know, as a player, you drive into the stadium. By the time that you're driving in, you don't get to see the crowd. You don't get to experience traffic because of you being escorted.
Yes.
So you get into the game, you get into the dressing room, you do your walkabouts. When you do walkabouts, when you're still chilling
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we're walking to the game. Once the game starts, that's when you see now there's a full capacity.
Yeah.
Now it plays in your mind.
Yeah.
So now it takes you like 20 minutes, 30 minutes to get into the game. Get problem. So that's what I'm saying. Everything that you need to, you want to prepare for that game. If you start doing it on that day, you're late.
So then how do you then deal with the weight of expectation? So you are coming out into this game and everybody the whole week has been speaking about how you must win it because it means this and the connotations of it mean that and so forth. The weight of expectation sits on your shoulders to say you need to win it for us. If you can't even go to the mall that week because winning weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you also need to remember that that's not your first game. You've played games before where you've done well. So remember those good moments. Picture them. Like tell yourself that this is going to be my game. I played games where I did well, where I did a lot of nice stuff. Just think of those things. Just don't overthink. You know,
Yeah.
like a lot of people overthink, and all of a sudden your second touch is a tackle. First touch, yellow card first minute, because you are overthinking.
Yeah.
But if you do the right things, if you do the things that you know, like the things that you've done before, that helped you to have great games, just stick to that.
Yeah.
It's not like now they're gonna play with a 5-pound ball, or the ball is bigger in the final, or the goals are smaller. It's the same game, but you just need to always remember the good times, and you'll do well.
I can't imagine how hard it must be, I think, for a player to be able to, tune out and be able to think of it like that. Because once there's, that it's one final,
Yeah.
you only have one chance of doing this thing.
Yeah.
If you miss or you make that mistake, to pick yourself up in front of a 50,000 crowd cannot be an easy thing.
It's not. I don't care how if you have a strong character or not.
Yeah.
Sometimes it also depends on the teammates that you have.
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna make a mistake on the game. So you need, when you need your teammates to help you out, they'll come through for you.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so important. I remember Coach Pitso Msimane used to say this: be a good teammate. Those are the type of things that you need. Because at times, Nagi can go gaming with so much expectations, but I'm struggling to play my game. And you training with me week in, week out. You can see that I'm struggling. Maybe at times I just need to something that I needed to reassure myself that I'm that good. Because sometimes you doubt yourself as a talented footballer. So it's one of those things where it's very difficult. Nobody wants to go into the game making mistakes, but we've seen great finals. There's a lot of mistakes in great finals. Great games, and we spoke about it, being a top footballer. These are the type of games that you want. These are the type of games that you've been working so hard for. You want to play this game, and also you don't want to come 90 minutes. You've got the regrets that I could have, I should have. So you want to play your heart out, irrespective of the results. And like Mahoota said, just remember the good times. Just remember whether it's training, whatever moments that is. Those are the things, because now once you remember those things, the game will come to you. 100%. And I've always told the players, don't go look for the game. The game will come to you. Just do the basics first. The game will come to you.
Yeah, but it's a big crowd. Something says to you, do something. But
you know what I used to do when I was playing for Pirates. Because I think at that time I was more into dribbling and outdoing. When the game is tense, I'll do that. Like I'll dribble a bit just to give confidence within the team and myself as well. So that if I don't do it for the first 20 minutes, you don't forget to get the more pitching. But it's just always a reminder, because of there's teams that they only perform well when the crowd is buzzing behind. Just like Orlando Pirates over the weekend. If you are able to silence the crowd, you've won half of the battle. And for you to silence the crowd is but you may ball. Orlando Pirates crowd, they don't want to defend no, they want to also have the ball, because there's the arrogance of a big team. That's what you should be having. But then to win such games is you need to be more on the ball, defend less, and you've won half of the battle.
Speaking of that, the last game we played against them, they were chasing shadows first half, the most of it. In the second half, you let them have the ball. And like you say, Coach Pete always said, let them have ball in the right places. So if the defenders have the ball, it's not doing anything to us. Moving into this game, then how do we change the tactics? Do we play the same way that we beat them with the first time, or do we then approach it differently because it's a cup final?
I think approach is a very broad word, because this is a cup final.
Yes.
It's not like a league game. They could have settled probably for a draw. If it was a draw, they could have said, we did well, we played away and whatnot in Orlando, a draw. But this is a cup final.
Yes.
The team that scores first has the upper hand.
Okay.
And I don't think Coach Rulani will go into this game and say, let's sit back and allow them to have the ball in areas where we want them and whatnot, and all of a sudden they score. Now you're under pressure. You need to equalize to take the game into extra time. So I think like I said, an approach is a very broad word. But I would think he wants to go into this game first and foremost to win.
Yes.
To start well. They need to start well. If they start well and set a certain level that Pirates need to match, then it's their game. But you can't go into this game thinking of other things like it was a league game. This is a once-off game. It's a once-off cup final, the MTN 8, and we know how badly he needs this cup. We know what.
Why would you say badly though? It's a negative word to use, wouldn't you say?
He needs the cup.
Why does he need the cup?
We've seen what people say. You read newspapers. you asked me about newspapers. Okay, maybe I'll withdraw the word badly, but he needs a cup.
100%.
He needs a cup, and for him to get a cup is to set the team in the right way and encourage them to do the right things and start well. And then once they do that, I'm sure they'll win the game.
Yeah. Coach Rulani did say for a majority of this group, it's going to be their first final together as a group. Himself
included,
How much more pressure does that then put on the team and him to win it?
But you just said I mustn't say badly needs the cup.
I didn't say he needs the cup badly. I said, hey, Mona, guys.
But I'm the one who said
badly. Yeah, you said badly.
Hey, we're not sorry.
I will translate.
I was searching for badly. But like I said, maybe badly is not the right word, but it's his first cup final.
Yeah. So is he under pressure?
Of course.
Of course he's under pressure.
Of course
he wants to.
But he delivered a league title, and by the way things look, a second one is coming.
But the thing is, like, Naves, if we have to get into a space where we saying the coach is not under pressure, and then there's going to be complacency that's going to creep in. And I think for the coach as well, also he needs that type of pressure to be able to progress and become the better coach every season, and just trying to push himself. And history retired sort of this MTN 8, which before it had different names. Other coaches have won it with Sundowns. When he doesn't win, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's a failure. But it's so important for him to win it. Not only for him, but for the club as well. Because you look back in the past 2 seasons. As a fella, we always look back like, if only we took that one, get another 4, get another 3, and get another. So you don't want to get into that season. And also, this is the type of game where last season it was in the semi-final, second leg. Where we got humiliated, go Polokwane Stadium with a 3-0. So there's a lot of things to settle that game. Never mind winning just the game. The thing is, like, Bolong, we compete. And in competition, everybody feels like they're the best. And for you to be able to solidify that you're the best, you need to beat the best. And I think this is the right cup final, not only from football, but from the fans. There's a cup final that I want to see. Two big teams that play differently, but also that are capable of winning. And that's what I want to see. But Sundowns needs to win it.
Of late, we've seen a lot of at the stadium. Pre-game, security has had to be called, but we've also seen that this thing doesn't work because people go and work the goalposts and they still lose the game.
Maybe they're working the goalposts to lose.
What's that? I know 2 hands. Let's start to.
I am faith.
Say it
with your chest, bruh.
All right, cool. So if you look at the CAF game that was played at Orlando, we had the Orlando Pirates. I don't know. I don't want to say they're part of the technical team, but they were members of the Orlando Pirates guys who were wearing their kit, spraying goalposts, and they still lost the game. At Attridgeville, we had Freedom Park FC guys going to try and do the same thing. And they still lost the game. So my question now is, how much of an impact does Isandla start to play in a big cup final like this one?
Talking about Muti.
I
mean, I'm
from
from Bushbuck Ridge. If Muti worked, I would have played for Barcelona. Seriously.
But they tried you and pegging them up.
No. What do you call these things? But no, there's nothing like that. That thing doesn't work, man. I mean, if that thing works, I mean, I'm from Bushbuck Ridge. And you don't want to get into that history of Bushbuck Ridge, but just know I'm from Bushbuck Ridge. And if that thing worked, I would have played for Barcelona. Straight. Whether they sprinkle
your question.
Like, really.
It doesn't
what
work.
does that sprinkling do?
Look, it's been proven that nothing in this instance.
Yeah, you can sprinkle whatever you want. Peter will score, man. Peter scores.
Now you're from Pushback.
Really, it doesn't work. I don't know. I don't believe in those. It's closer to Mozambique. So
because we've also always heard the stories, especially after players retire, they'll tell you, before cup final, team in.
Yeah, I also went through that. But that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't do anything. As long as I don't drink and as long as they don't cut me, you can't shower, fuck yeah, gaming. There's nothing.
There's nothing.
Yeah, but it comes back to the cultures, cultures of the teams and the rituals. Because I strongly believe also not just teams. Every player's got their own rituals before any big games. And you find teams that will come into the cup final without doing anything, but now because it's a cup final, there's certain things now so it's just new things. So it just depends on the culture of the club and where the club comes from, because I think from where it comes from, I think it plays a huge role because of this thing. Maybe back then those were the things that needed to be done, whether to protect yourself, whatever the beliefs are, because people have different beliefs, and I'm not going to shoot down people that have different beliefs, but it's just that at the end of the day, there's 4 lines we need to compete on. Irrespective of there's 4 lines that we still need to compete. And whoever cup tops, it doesn't matter what happened before. Kimos is saying, we'll celebrate that we keep it moving.
Yeah.
So I think it's just that.
All right. Thank you very much, gents. Guys, that clears the Muti conversation. It's evident, if the guys from Pushback Ridge Barai it's into a high.
If Pushback Ridge guy can say,
he knows. Steve played in Zanini, he knows. He went there.
My friend who could have been promoted. So stayed there for 4 years. 4 years, brother.
Gents, thank you very much. We do have some comments that have come in. Uratile says, thank you very much, Pitchside, for this type of info. Great work. That comes from the episode where we were reviewing the grass at... well, it's not grass, it's a hybrid grass at Loftus. Why is it a hybrid grass?
Yeah, Kileko Loftus.
Mahoota? I know it's not hybrid class, I know it's a hybrid.
Killing Loftus.
Leshata says, the only team that is serious about the football game. Big ups to the Motsepe family. Very blessed to be associated with this great brand of Mamelodi Sundowns. And then Mpomfo King says, thank you, Masandawana, for setting the standard in South Africa and the rest of Africa. Now we shall see the advanced Shushan and Piano on a good pitch. Speaking of Shushan and Piano, your score predictions for the final?
Oh, Naves Simon.
Score prediction.
Yes.
It's a final.
Yeah. Okay, don't give me numbers. Do you think it's going to be a low scoring or a high scoring game?
I think a low scoring game.
It needs to be a high scoring game.
I don't think so. I think both teams are a bit cautious. They're both nervous. They are.
I don't know.
I don't think Mamelodi Sundowns has anything to be nervous about.
Nah, there's nothing.
I think
More confident than anything.
we're gonna see two nervous teams.
Okay, so low scoring final.
Low scoring final. 2 nervous teams. Yeah, I don't see a 3-0, a 3-2, or a 4-1. No.
Penalties?
No, I don't see penalties.
Okay.
I think both teams will score. Well, a 2-1, a 1-0. I think that would be the score. Because Pirates are somewhere and they probably believe that this is their chance.
Yeah.
And Coach Rulani also believes that he needs to get this cup. So it's 2 coaches that are probably a bit cautious, a bit nervous. But I don't see a high-scoring final. A 2-1, a 1-0.
Okay. Donna?
From a football point of view, from a fan, I would like to see a 4 goals in the match, whether it's 2-2, whether it's 3-1. I'd like to see that, because if you look at the games when there's 2 teams face each other, it's always nicer when somebody scored and you see the reaction from the other team.
Yeah.
So it's always that type, and then now it allows the game to open a bit. And I just wish in the final a team scores between 5-10 minutes and then it opens the game. So it becomes like a very nice final that is not cagey, because I don't want to see a highly technical game. Yeah. But there's a potential that it might be.
Yeah.
A very
especially looking at the coaches and
looking at the
history.
coaches.
Yes.
Yeah. And also one would ask, okay, on this cup final, Orlando Pirates are defending champions. Are they favorites to win it? Or Mamelodi Sundowns come in as underdogs? Because not every game that Mamelodi Sundowns... Okay, there's very few games where Mamelodi Sundowns goes as underdogs. And I don't even remember the year. So now this is very, very interesting to see is this guy's going to be able to defend that title. And if they have to defend, and they will defend that title, how are they going to play? Because you saw the best 11 Orlando Pirates when they played against Mamelodi Sundowns at the Orlando Stadium. So we can't anticipate something different. Because whatever that is different, it hasn't been used already. So if it's been used on the day, which means something new, which means Mamelodi Sundowns will dominate more. So it'll be very interesting for them. But just from a scoreline, I just want to see a 4-goal thriller.
And as an analyst? You said as a fan, that's your perspective.
As an analyst, I would like to see a tactical game. Because then it gives me more meat to analyze as to what happens when the ball is out or when what has possession. But it's just that I feel that Pirates has threats, serious threats.
Okay.
To cause problems for Sundowns.
Okay.
And Sundowns, they know. And for you to avoid those threats to be activated, just have them the ball.
100%.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us. Looking forward to seeing you at the final in Durban.
Yeah,
We're going to do our thing, Tago.
of
Yeah?
course.
Yeah?
Yeah, don't start something. So when somebody's gonna watch this, I'm like, okay, what have you planned when all the names? No, not starting anything.
Listen, guys, do join us at Gateway Mall. Saturday, the 7th of October, we're going to be there. The Pitchside crew will be there. Come join us, man. There'll be prizes, Sundowns jerseys on sale. On. We are painting Durban yellow. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave your comments. Pitchside Podcast.